You are listening to the Atlanta Real Estate Forum radio show, Around Atlanta Edition, showcasing the best of Metro Atlanta, our communities, the attractions, and the special events that make Atlanta great. Welcome to our virtual town square. And now, here are today's hosts.
Good morning and welcome back to the Around Atlanta edition. I am your host, Todd Schnick, joined by my friend and colleague, Carol Morgan. Before we begin, we do want to thank New American Funding for being our 2021 show sponsor, now our 10th year on the air. It has been great having them as our partner. All right, Carol, this is going to be a cool conversation. We've not showcased this organization on the show before, doing some really impactful, important stuff. It's going to be a great conversation.
This is going to be fantastic. So, it's always fun to talk about youth sports, and this is even a more important segment of youth sports. So we want to welcome Tommie Storms. She is the co-founder and executive director of the American Association of Adapted Sports Programs. Welcome to the show, Tommie, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you both for giving us an opportunity to chat. Not much to say about me, except that I am lucky enough to have found an area of work that really speaks to purpose. And I'm just excited to tell you about that purpose today and what we're doing with some really amazing kids.
Well, we can't wait to dive in. So let's do that. So adapted sports, what's that all about? What's your mission and purpose?
After the 1996 Atlanta Paralympic Games, as you would imagine, after the Olympic Games, all these kids came forward and were like, I want to be Michael Johnson. I want to be, well, kids with disabilities felt the same way. And the Paralympics really inspired them, especially here in Atlanta. And these were the first full-blown games that we'd seen in the United States. So they needed someplace to go, and we filled that gap. We were already running a program in adapted sports, which means basically we've taken sports you would know, like basketball, and then adapted them so that someone in a wheelchair can play the sport. Mostly they look the same, but of course they're adapted for special needs and varying levels of ability on the court, et cetera. So anyway, we've adapted several of those types of sports, and we looked around the country and we're like, almost everything is done at the community level and very little is done in the schools, which is where we were. So naturally, we wanted to replicate what we were doing. That kids went to school. It was just as easy for parents to get a note from school saying, hey, we noticed your kid might be appropriate for this program. Would you like to come out and learn more about it? And that led to regular competition, over 35 programs across the state tournaments. And then in our 5th year, we approached Georgia High School Association and said, what do you say we now make this part of the sports infrastructure in Georgia? And Dr. Ralph Swearingen, who still sits on our board, was the man we talked to at the time, along with Evander Holyfield, who was there. And it was like, yeah, we want to do this. And how do we make it happen? You clearly have created it. How do we just bring it in and make it fully a part of what students have available to them here in Georgia? So that's where we are today. We've done it. We've actually created a really wonderful program and an easy way for parents and kids to get involved.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, and 25 years is impressive. So congratulations for making it work for 25 years. Take us back to how it all started and walk us through some of the highlights of those 25 years.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm glad here at 25 years we don't have some of the barriers and the things we had to take on at the time. But there's a learning curve. People were afraid, well, if they have a disability, they're in a wheelchair, aren't they fragile? Aren't we going to hurt them? Sports departments, newspapers, et cetera, would be like, well, it's not really sports. We're like, oh, no, it really is. But it took bringing them out and letting them really see it. And then they're like, oh, we get it, So people will always, in my experience, do the right thing and take you where you want to go if you can show them where there are barriers and how easily they can be removed and how they can be a part of it. That really is the formula for life, and it's been the formula for this program. So we have our scores that are advertised in the newspapers. These kids, it's the Gwinnett County Heat. They don't talk about some sort of program that's kind of out there doing. So this is their school district program. They're proud of that state title, right? And we have school systems that are playing others, just as with your kids, if they don't have a disability. We adapt the rules. We've created the standardization. We even have our own line of sporting goods at this point with Flag House out of New Jersey, so that teachers around the country can go, how do I get kids involved? How do I even know who they are who can play sports? We help with that. What sports could they play? They can download our rules directly from our website. What would that look like? And where do we get the equipment? They can go directly to Flag House, and there that is. So again, we've created it in a cookie cutter way. But what makes us unique is we are the first and still the only interscholastic athletic association solely focused on adapted sports for those with physical disabilities. The kids dropping through the cracks were those who were not eligible for Special Olympics because they had no cognitive impairment, and they may not always be able to be on a regular team, a traditional team, we would call it. So that's the gap we filled.
It always frustrates me when there's this perception that they're fragile, because we know they're not, and we know that they certainly have strong spirits. And then you could say that what you're making available is going to strengthen them. So, I mean, there's all kinds of benefits to it as well. So it's great stuff. So for a parent listening to this who is suddenly intrigued, how do they go about learning about what's available at their school? And then if a particular institution does not have the program yet, I mean, I'm assuming there's a process by which they can enter the fold. So walk us through all that.
Those are great questions. The first thing that I would say to a parent is, please look at the fact that we're doing wheelchair sports mostly as skateboarding or cycling or something like that. The first thing parents will be like, but my kid walks. I mean, we have worked all our lives to stay away from the wheelchair. And we're like, until he's in a sports wheelchair doing 35 miles an hour down a court. And trust me, it's not a medical device. So that would be the first thing I'd want them to be able to move past, that these are competitive. As you say, it makes them stronger, cardiovascular, effects, all of that, health benefits that come with it. I would want them to know that. And the second thing is, if you are in Georgia and you have a child who is is in 1st through 12th grade, who has a physical disability, and whether or not he uses a wheelchair, ambulates on his own, uses an assistive device, something, though, is preventing him or her from fully participating in a regular sport, then you can call us, you can call the Georgia High School Association, or you can just declare yourself to a coach at your school. And we've got the system set up that you're in the net. And then one of us is going to talk to you, have someone call you, find out about what your child's need is, and let you know what's available in your area and what may not be available. Our team sports, as you might guess, are really in the more of the metro or the larger areas because you can pull more students together. But track and field, for example, is available anywhere, any high school. All you got to do is tell your coach, and we train them. They're on the court. You're eligible for, a state title, and all the pride of your school as you represent them. So.
Well, you recently hosted an event that I'm sure was the pride of the winning school, the wheelchair basketball varsity finals games. Talk a little bit about how that went and, what it means to participate in that event.
We start in the fall with a sport called handball because you can throw straight ahead into a net and have success. It's followed by basketball, very, very popular. And that event has been televised almost since the first time that we offered it. It's done completely through Georgia High School, the varsity championship is. And so, you go to, used to be Georgia Public Broadcasting. Now it's actually the National Federation of State High School Associations network, but they're broadcasting that game. So you have the girls finals, the boys finals from high school associations all over the country. And then here in Georgia, you have the state high school basketball championship. And I don't know if you ever saw that movie. Is it Hoosiers with where the kids walk out on the court? They're like in Indiana, this huge, huge stadium, and it just blows them away. That's the experience for these kids when they roll out into Macon Arena or something like that. It's like, you know what? I matter too. What I'm doing here is exciting, and it's one of our best events. But I'll tell you, it's not our most popular sport.
Well, what is?
Football. Wheelchair football is our most
Really?
popular sport, and
Who
we've
knew?
adapted it to play on a basketball court. And I used to host a program on Voice America, and a coach from Japan, whose athlete in regular American football had broken his neck during the game and was a quadriplegic, heard the program, came over, we trained him. Now we have wheelchair football teams in Japan as well as here in the United States. That's
Wow.
just one of our very, very cool stories. But
Yeah, that is a great story. Tell us about the Aspire Awards. Those sound amazing. And what's the process behind it?
well, the Aspire Awards, actually, you all might even be nominated for one day. But it stands for Adapted Sports Programs in Recreation and Education. And it recognizes not only outstanding programs, but also our top male and female high school athletes who have been nominated. We have a media award for those who really focused and tried to make a difference by bringing a message like this to their particular audience. We have legislators, leaders, advocates, volunteers who are also eligible. So I really urge you, if your community, you don't have to be affiliated with us, but if your community, you know some people who are out there really working to put these kids in a game, to put together some sports opportunities for them, and they're doing it in such a way that you're inspired by it and you think others would, please go to our website, look for Aspire Award. Tell us about that person, because it's important that we recognize the work everybody's doing, not just this organization. We're a family, no matter where we're coming from.
No doubt.
Yeah, I like that. It's always nice to show appreciation and recognition.
And we have some pretty inspiring speakers that we're able to bring in. So I won't tell you who it's going to be this year, but not to be missed, and it'll be online.
Okay. Oh, online is nice. Well, talk a little bit about all of your different education programs.
So we have a coaches education program where we also have a member of our board, Deborah Shapiro, Dr. Deborah Shapiro. She is at Georgia State University. A lot of her students will sometimes go through our program or work with her to get their certification. But if you're an adapted PE teacher, you're wanting to know more about how you can involve your student, you can take our coaching program. We may not have a team for you that we can assign you to, or that your school sends you through the training program to be trained for their program. But you can go back and take that knowledge. It'll translate to wherever you are. So we teach handball, wheelchair basketball, wheelchair football, track and field. And we also have an administrative training for those who are running a program or want to run a program, and they need to understand the ins and outs. Now, we are at this point in our 25th anniversary partnering with the National Federation of State High School Associations. That's all 50 high school associations, and the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association. So through those groups, we have published our best practices. So even that is a great place to start on our website, is go to find our partners, look at what we're doing with them. And we have an online training program. It's about 45 minutes. You can take it when you get off the air with me. Just go jump on National Federation of State High School Associations, put in adapted sports, and you can take that training. So we really are hands-on here in Georgia in keeping those training rolling, keeping those coaches, coordinators, referees, everybody on the same page. But if you're somewhere else in the country and you need help setting up a program and that's not enough, we'll come to you. Wow. So just give us a call, let us know what your needs are, and we'll see if we can't put something together with you and get a trainer up there to see you and work with your folks.
Well, I'm blown away. I'm thinking about all this educational programming and these Aspire Awards, and then the infrastructure behind this association, and all this process and training and support. It's amazing stuff. It doesn't just happen out of the goodness of your heart. There are probably funding requirements and funding needs to help make this happen. Talk about that process, that side of it. And I guess the big question is, are there ways for people to help support the important work being done here?
Thanks for asking that. Obviously, funding puts the wheels on the bus. In Georgia, we're very lucky to have a system where the school systems pay in like an association fee. The Georgia High School Association pays some of our costs. The Georgia Department of Education assists with some of our costs. We receive money from our sporting goods a little bit. We write grants, but it's really important if you just if you just shop on Amazon, if you choose us as your charity through Amazon Smile, it doesn't cost you anything, but we're getting a little bit of that money. We've worked with the real estate groups here in Georgia, and one in particular, Keller Williams, who held one of their annual fundraising events and made us one of the charities that received some money. They're not the only ones. We've also worked with others, and some attorneys groups, et cetera. We just ask that you know who we are. If you like what we're doing, then help us out. And if money isn't something you can give, then contact us anyway, submit an inquiry form. Maybe you can be a table official. Maybe you want to train as a referee. We train you for free. You get a really cool black and white striped shirt, and you get to run up and down the court and make calls. And we actually pay you like a few dollars a game to do that. Although a lot of our referees volunteer just because they want to be with the kids. And I got to tell you, there's nothing like the appreciation these kids have when you come in. They're just so glad you're there. Yeah, they just appreciate so much that they belong, and they're not treated differently. They're not treated like this is a disability sport program. It's just a sport program. One of the most moving things one of the young athletes ever said to me was like, this is the only place I can come where my disability makes no difference. And I'm thinking, you do know that we've designed this whole program for this, but not to him, because that all disappeared.
Yeah.
And if you're that person who can volunteer and come in and be one of us, just doing sports, disability aside, please come see us.
Ready to take the next step in becoming a homeowner? New American Funding can make it happen. New American Funding is a nationally recognized direct lender for residential home loans. Real estate agents and builders love New American Funding because of their in-house processing, 14 business day close guarantee, and the servicing of their loans. They will work tirelessly to help you achieve home ownership, backed by thousands of 5-star reviews from their customers, and with convenient branch locations. More and more residents trust them to close their loans on time. Call New American Funding at 678-898-3540 to start your home buying journey today.
Yeah, what a rewarding program to participate in as a volunteer. Do you have other opportunities for volunteers off the courts?
Yes, we do. But at the moment, because we're in our 25th anniversary, I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to History Associates Incorporated. They are an incredible group out of Washington, D.C., and they're going to be here most of our month of August, either on site or working with us remotely. We are capturing, scanning, filing, archiving, creating a library out of all this 25 years of work that is so important to capture. If you can't fish for somebody, you teach them to fish. And we want this knowledge to be there forever for people to build on, as we did. We stood on the shoulders of a lot of people who came before us, and we want to be able to pass that on. So not right now, because we're pretty covered up with a big project. But let me give you a phone number. Robin Hootsell is our state coordinator. She's our state director of sports. And Robin's got her finger on the pulse of what every school system has said they need and who their volunteers are that they need. And so give Robin a call. She'll get you in touch with your local program, and you can ask them directly. But if you don't do anything at all but bring your kids out, sit in the stands and cheer for these kids, it's going to change your life. It's going to change your kids' life. And they're going to treat those kids at school who may have a disability differently. We see these kids start to they're dating the cheerleader. They're like, did you ever think me? I'm dating the cheerleader. We're like, well, yeah, we did. Once they saw you made that 3-point shot sitting from midcourt, we figured she might like you.
It's still some really good competition. I mean, you can't.
absolutely.
You gotta appreciate that too. Well, I recently joined and became a trustee of local boys and girls clubs here where I live, and blown away by the impact that these, what the boys and girls clubs are all about is providing after school opportunities and programming, which gets these kids away from trouble and doing important, meaningful things with their lives. And so the parallels to what this is doing for these kids in terms of giving them meaning and purpose and the thrill of competition, and the chance to thrive and succeed and is just mind-blowing. And so we're so grateful for the important work and these 25 years of difference that you're making in these kids' lives and the lives of our communities that this is all taking place in.
Let's extend that to everyone who's made it possible. No one does it alone. A lot of people have had their hand on the till.
No doubt about it. So one last time, the website where people can go to get information and all of this and get started.
Yeah, the website is adapted. That is with an ED. We use the verb, not the adjective, but the verb, adaptedsports.org. You can also reach it at AAASP.org. It'll take you to the same place. Robin Hootsell, as I was saying, is our state director. Her phone number is 678-283-4424. And our main number is 404-294-0070. And our webpage, once you go there, the very last 3 words on the website, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, are submit and inquiry. So reach out if you need more information and come join our family. We'd love to have you.
Tommie Storms, the executive director and co-founder of the American Association of Adapted Sports Programs. Tommie, thanks so much for carving out some time to join us. And again, grateful for your important work.
Thank you so much. And keep up the good work, bringing a spotlight to some good causes and things going on here in Atlanta. God bless you.
It's a hard job to have to share this kind of stuff with our audience.
Actually, yeah, it's a lot of fun. So thank you for coming on.
Well, that wraps this week's Around Atlanta edition. On behalf of our show sponsor, New American Funding, my co-host, Carol Morgan, I am Todd Schnick. That's all the time that we have for today. Thank you for tuning in and listening, and we look forward to seeing you again right here next week. We'll see you then.
Atlanta Real Estate Forum Radio is made possible by Denim Marketing, the publisher of Atlanta Real Estate Forum, Atlanta's favorite source for real estate and home building news. Denim Marketing is a comfortable fit, like your favorite pair of jeans. Denim Marketing tailors marketing strategies to meet your specific needs and niche. Try them on for size. They will work to create a perfect fit for your company's marketing program. Call them at 770-383-3360 or send an email to info@denimmarketing.com. For more information on Atlanta Real Estate Forum Radio or to inquire about being a guest, contact info@atlantarealestateforum.com. Check out the radio show by visiting atlantarealestateforum.com or by listening to the show on your favorite podcast app. And if you enjoyed today's broadcast, we'd sure appreciate a rating and review on iTunes. Thank you again for listening, and we'll see you next time on Atlanta Real Estate Forum Radio.